I just want to talk about this one thing because, and I'll just breeze through it, Olivia, if we can. I just really love I love the story for spite. I'll be honest with you. I might make me a bad person, but this is another one of those Trudeau MPs he was quitting to spend time with family. And then all of a sudden he was like, "No, actually I don't like my family. I'm running again." And but along the way, the typical liberal sense of entitlement crept in, and then he got mugged by reality and the disloyalty of Mark Carney. So I love this story. We'll breeze through it because, like I said, I got a heart out. We got two more things to talk about. Um, so it's from Blacklock's Liberal MP Nate Erskine Smith dumped his stock portfolio days before being booted from cabinet, thinking he was a shoo-in. It's so humiliating. So, a May 1st ethics filing reveals Erskine Smith sold off all of his publicly traded shares to comply with conflict of interest rules, only to be fired from cabinet less than 2 weeks later. So, ministers have 120 days to sell off stocks or set up a blind trust. Nate hit day 144, so he's already over. He didn't disclose which stocks he sold. He just noted divestment of publicly traded securities by sale, and then he claimed that he was fully in compliance. And Nate Erskine Smith the other day had a very public meltdown because he was not included in cabinet. And he didn't mention why he had this public meltdown. He just said he felt disrespected, but it's probably because it cost him his stock portfolio. And then he said, you put in so much time and then it's not there anymore. Somehow he forgot that this is politics and you're not entitled to your job. So as I said in my quick recap, he said he was quitting politics, changed his mind when Trudeau made him housing minister, reappointed in March 2025, then fired 2 months later after dumping his stocks. He actually, I think, thought he could probably, after remember he had that profanity laced meltdown against Rick Perkins, saying like this is that Rick Perkins could F right off, and he still was able to stay as a minister. I think he honestly thought he could get away with anything. But anyway, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Sheila, I understand his anger because back in January, we went out to cover a Carney press conference at a pub in the beach area of Toronto. It was kind of unique because not only were mainstream media, or rather independent media, media non grata, the legacy media was also forced to cover it from a sidewalk and listen in through an open window. I'm not making this up, but Carney was a excitement vampire. You could feel the energy leave the room. And Nate Erskine Smith, Sheila, was basically cutting wrestling promos. He was a total well-meaning foot soldier minion. At one point, he even crossed the street and crashed a little presser that Melissa Lantsman was doing.
Right.
And so I think with all of this, foot soldier work he was doing to prop up Carney, I kind of get why he thought he had a reward coming, and when it didn't come, oh boy.
Yeah, well, also I think though his foot soldier work was unhinged, and I think
it was.
I think Carney, who is exceptionally boring, looked at this unhinged guy and thought he's just going to be a liability. Speaking of liability, Mark Carney already has a bunch of people saying things in some provinces to some people in some languages and others completely differently, including himself on the issue of pipelines. So Mark Carney says yes to pipelines, although he says he supports Bill C-69, which is no to pipelines. But his cabinet ministers, including Stephen Guilbeault, who that's not his lane anymore. He's over at censorship, heritage. He's not the environment minister anymore. But the environment minister also says no. But Mark Carney also says yes to pipelines, but Quebec's got a veto. So anyways, let's watch this latest video that's giving the Canadian public whiplash on whether or not the Liberals support pipelines.
Dans
Oh,
mes
it's
conversations avec les premiers ministres, et M. Carney, dans la campagne électorale, a été très clair, un corridor énergétique, ça peut amener des lignes de transmission d'électricité, ça peut amener le gaz naturel, ça peut amener à la limite des wagons de minéraux critiques. C'est pas uniquement des pipelines. Les gens ont tendance à réduire ça à une pipeline de pétrole.
Ouais.
On ne parle pas de pipeline de pétrole quand on parle de corridor énergétique.
okay. All right. I guess they really do want us to leave. Right? Like, they just want us to exit this country. Carney said he's open. He didn't say yes to pipelines, by the way. He said he's open to them, whatever that means. But they just said this energy corridor doesn't include energy from Alberta, basically. They said he's okay with rail cars. What if we put oil in the rail car? Can we do that? I don't know.
Yeah, and you know, you forgot to add one notable voice out there, Stephen Guilbeault,
Right.
the jailbird. Even though he's no longer environment minister, even though he never was energy minister, why in blue hell is he weighing in on the pipeline issue?
Because he's an idiot. Because he's an idiot and a radical. These people can't help themselves. Why is Dominic LeBlanc weighing in on it?
Yeah.
These people can't help themselves. They just are taking swipe after swipe after swipe at Alberta. They just are.
Yeah.
And then they call us swing nuts.
Yeah, and in the immortal words of The Rock, Sheila, know your role and shut your damn mouth. That's my advice to all these lackeys. Let's face it, Canada's economy isn't heading in the right direction. Inflation's eating away your savings, and government debt is out of control. No politician is going to fix that overnight. With Guildhall Wealth, you can hold real physical gold and silver inside your RRSP. It's a time-tested way to protect your retirement and take back control of your wealth. Call 1-877-8-SILVER or visit guildhallwealth.com/rebel to request your free investor kit. And hey, make sure to mention Rebel News.